What the hell happened?
Hell happened.
And how is this elderly Oompa Loompa going back to the White House? And these cabinet picks. It's like the Knights of the Clown Table. There's arrest warrants for war crimes, E. coli, and carrots, and Uncle Joey has cancer?
Well, hopefully they can cut it out, right?
22!
You're alive. We thought you died.
Well, I did somehow wake up naked in the break room.
That explains the email from HR.
Here. So was there like whipped cream, chocolate?
23!
What?
Hey. Good to see you.
So now what?
Well, we got a lot of work to do.
Whoa, you mean I don't even get a vacation or like overtime pay?
Idiot.
He's not.
Ahem. Well, back to work it is.
Listen, this is a mess. And it's gonna take a lot of work, but I think we can fix it.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. And thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. And what better way to open than that? Because I believe we can all relate to that right now. Now, tonight we're going to mix things up. We're going to do our usual political stuff and we're going to talk about some other subjects starting now. Now, this one is a two-parter, so I'm going to play two videos back to back and we're going to talk about it on the other side.
What is it about women that confuses men so much? It took me about 10 years of marriage, and about 7 years of having mostly female coworkers, before I stopped being confused by the tendency of women in my life to seek out unnecessary friction. That is, why they'd get annoyed or even angry with me when I agreed with them on something. My inner monologue was often variations of, "Why are you mad? I'm literally agreeing with you. You're creating a conflict where there isn't one." It usually manifested itself when decisions had to be made that affected the women and myself. Like this: "Woman in my life, what do you think of this choice for the thing that we both use?" "Me, I like it." "Woman, what about this one?" "Me, I like that one, too." "Woman, which do you prefer?" "Me, whichever one you like best is fine with me." "Woman, visible anger, my inner monologue, I'm agreeing with you. Why are you mad at me?" Finally, after one such unnecessary conflict with my wife, she told me a secret: being agreeable all of the time is not a good thing. Not having opinions about most things doesn't mean that you're easy to get along with. It means that you don't care. At least, that's how women interpret it. So, I started forming opinions about things when women asked for my opinion. And it's worked wonders. Even if, deep down, I'd be happy with any decision, I still state a preference for one decision, and defend it if necessary. This has helped me out a lot at home and at work. Just last month, there was a scheduled change in my 3 coworkers, all women, and I had to decide on the order in which we'd take our breaks, since only one of us can go on break at any given time. The truth was that I would have been happy with any break time because, honestly, it's not like we're doing manual labor and need to rest our bodies. I do half of my teaching while sitting down anyway, writing on an iPad which is then projected onto a screen for my students to see. I never leave work exhausted. Anyway, my coworkers were putting a lot of thought into their requested break times, so I figured I should, too. I picked a time, and, even though it was a time that another one wanted, I didn't know that when I picked it, they all seemed to appreciate the fact that I had an opinion, and then built the rest of the break schedule around what I wanted. Experience has taught me that if I'd just taken whatever was left after my coworkers picked what they wanted, the women would have left the meeting angry at me for being so agreeable. It's like there's a base level of friction women are comfortable with, and that level is above the 0 level where a lot of men, like me, dwell. I think this is why the only people I know who actually enjoy reality television are women. Watch Bravo sometime, a channel with shows targeted toward women, and notice how many of their shows basically revolve around completely unnecessary conflicts between real people.
Ran right into the point and almost got it. Almost got it. He doesn't realize that he's relying on women to make every decision in his life as if he's still a toddler. And he's taking the fact that he's not taking any initiative and he's putting all of the weight on them and utilizing free labor for them as friction, as women wanting drama. No. Just like I cannot stand the running gender-based joke that women never know what they want when they're hungry. No, that tends to be men. It tends to be men. Instead of saying, "Hey, you hungry? I was thinking this, this, and this. Which do you want to choose from?" They're waiting for us to tell them what they want to eat. They really are. Because as soon as you start suggesting things, "No, I don't want that." It's the flip. It's the reverse. It is what it is. But I don't And this kind of goes into a deeper conversation because there are a lot of men who will call out the red pill men and don't realize they share the same ideologies. They just compartmentalize it differently and they categorize it differently. But a lot of the behaviors are exactly the same. Exactly the same. And they don't realize it. It's like you're calling out your reflection. Now we are going to get into some politics, but let's keep things I guess a tad bit lighter for now. Let's get into this I'm going to call it insecure dress code rule. Let's roll it.
I have something to say. If I'm with my man and I invite my female friends out, you will dress appropriately around me and my man. You're going to respect that dress code. A lot of females are going to be like, oh, well, if you know your man is, you know, a womanizer, whatever, and he have no discipline, then you shouldn't be with him, this and that. I don't give a flying. I don't care. Because what we not going to do, because y'all know what y'all be doing. That you think you about to come around my man butt naked. This is why I don't even have friends that don't dress appropriate. Why you think you could come around my man and just shit is see-through and you wearing your thong out? I don't care. If you around my man, you will dress appropriately. It don't have nothing to do with insecurity, body positivity. You need to respect me as your friend and respect my man as well, being the fact that he's my man. Like, why are we acting like that's not a thing? Like, you're going to respect what's going on. You're not going to dress however you think you about to dress, thinking, oh, it's about confidence. I really be out here trying to convince yourself, oh, yes, that sounds like insecurity, this and that and the third. You need to check that with your man, blase, blase. Girl. Y'all act like y'all don't see how girls be really on their friend's man. And I'm not saying that a man don't play a part in it, but what we not gonna do is start enabling shit and dropping a little curiosity. That's not what we doing. We not doing that. You gonna dress appropriate when you come around me and my man, okay? You're gonna wear jeans, right? No see-through, nothing, and you're gonna wear a sweater. You're gonna dress appropriate, bro. You're not wearing nothing see-through, and I feel like you're disrespectful and you're like that. You cannot be my friend and you cannot be around me. Simple, because you don't respect me as your friend. And I don't care what anybody have to say about that. I don't care. It don't have nothing to do with body positivity or it don't have nothing to do with being confident. It's about respect. Respect your friend and their relationship. Dress appropriate when you come around your friend and her man. That's it. You think we don't all have the same titty and ass?
Well, if we all have the same titty and ass, why are you concerned about it? Number one. But number two, did you hear how she said, if your man can't, she don't care about that. So she knows that her man has a wandering eye. And why would you be inviting your man out to girls' night? Because you specifically said if I'm inviting you out and you want her to wear jeans and a sweater. When people are going out, they should be able to wear anything. So what about the women that are not with you that are walking around like that? Then what? You gonna have a problem with them because your man cheats? It sounds like the situation with Dr. Heavenly on what is it, Married to Medicine. I saw a clip going around. And she said if her husband did cheat, it was the woman's fault because he would never do that to her. This sounds like the type of woman who would become a mother and tell her daughters to change because a man is coming to the house and teaching young girls that they can sway. It's the same thing a lot of Christian churches teach that you don't want to be a stumbling block for this man. How about you check that grown ass man? Because it's amazing that men don't have these conversations with their friends about what to wear around their women. Because if their women venture out and cheat, they rightfully hold the woman accountable. Now, is it wrong for your friend to cheat with your partner? Yes. But 9 times out of 10, your friends aren't concerned about your man. They're dressing for the occasion. They're dressing according to their regular style. And if your man got googly eyes for your friend, then he didn't really want to be with you. He used you as a stepping stone to get to somebody else in that friend group. Or you decided to toss yourself at him. And you know that's not where he really wants to be. And that goes regardless of your gender identity. Stop forcing yourself into situations that you don't belong. I'm just saying. Because all this dress code, it needs to stop. It needs to stop all the way around. If you have people around you that you cannot trust, why are they still around? Friends, relatives, romantic partners, acquaintances, I don't give a damn. Why are they still around? Now let's get into some internalized anti-blackness.
Devin, is it hard to be a black girl model?
I don't really consider myself as a black girl model. I know what my ethnicity is, but I'm fair-skinned and I feel like I have an international look.
You don't feel black?
No, that's not what I said whatsoever.
What does she mean? That's a disgrace. She's a black girl. You can't be confused about what you are.
As soon as I finish answering my question, all I hear is Naomi bug out. I'm scared out my pants.
As you should be, to say the Naomi Campbell, one of the major reasons you're able to be where you were, and you showing that you embody colorism. And if you could identify it, well, you were trying to identify as anything but black because you said you know what your ethnicity is. You didn't say anything about your race. You don't see yourself as a black model. You believe that you have a universal look. That is internalized anti-blackness. Because some people do buy into the indoctrination that white or the adjacency to white is right and everything else is wrong and bad. Whew. We're going to segue from that into, because I'm tired of people going, well, this generation is going to die off and that'll take all this problematic behavior and the racism away. No, it won't. Y'all act like these people don't have children and grandchildren and that they're not still alive and kicking it and trying to keep the worst times in history alive. When they say make America great again, let me show you what they really mean.
So we got another officer on the way too. Did he say anything today?
He did act like he was gonna slap my cashier in the middle. He does this thing where like he'll make you salute him, and if you don't salute him back, he gets mad about it, and then he'll be like, "I ought to slap you."
All right.
And then I said, "Do I need to remind you that I called the police on you last time?" And he said, "There's something wrong with you." And I was like, "Okay."
How old is he?
He's old. I don't know how old. He's old though. At least.
Well, let's go make contact with him. Which aisle is he on? Do you want the white cowboy hat?
Yes.
Do you want him to go ahead and leave now?
His wife can finish shopping. I never have a problem with his wife, but
Do you want to do a trespass for sure?
yes.
Okay.
100%.
You know his name?
I don't.
Okay. Let's step around the corner over here. So here's the deal.
Give me something proper on. All right.
All right, we've been called here before about you making derogatory remarks towards people, saying you're going to slap people, raising your hand like you're going to slap people, and interfering with their work and harassing the employees.
You've been called on me. I ain't done that before.
Okay. I'm not here to debate it with you, okay? I'm not going to disrespect you, but I would expect the same from you, okay? So here's what's going on. We've been called by this store, by the management of this store, about you and the things you say to these employees, and they are not going to tolerate it. So that's why the manager is here. They wish to have you trespassed, okay? So if you want to go ahead and, if you have paperwork, then yes. Okay, then it's just a formal trespass telling them whatever you got to tell him. So.
You can sit in your car, but you cannot come inside.
What did I do to you?
Okay.
I did not threaten you.
Okay, hey, we're not getting into all that.
Okay. I got a right to say stuff too, buddy.
Okay. Well, listen here. Number one, don't call me buddy. You're not going to disrespect me. I have yet to disrespect you. Okay? So here's how this works. She has officially notified you of the trespass. What's going to happen from here on out, or from here forward, is a report's going to be filed stating that you have been trespassed from this location. If you walk into this store, they've allowed you on the premises in your car in the parking lot. Okay? If you walk into that store, we will be called, and the minute you were seen in this store by an Oxford police officer, you will be arrested for trespassing. Do you understand? Yes or no?
No.
You do not understand?
No.
What do you not understand about that?
I don't understand why she done it.
This is their place of business. They can choose to sell to anyone or not sell to anyone, and to have someone to come shop in their business or not to anybody they want to. Okay? They have that right. This is their store.
I have a right to her to explain to me where I threatened her at.
She just explained to you, you threatened her the last time you were in here, and you were threatening to slap somebody when you came in here today.
I was playing with the girl I always play with.
Okay, well, if they don't take it that way,
don't take it that way.
okay, well,
They do, she don't.
have you asked them?
They play. They play. I play with them all the time.
Do you have your identification on you?
Yeah.
Can I see your driver's license?
It's the first time in my life this has ever happened to me.
Okay.
Period. 81 years old and do that, you a punk.
Hey, I'm not gonna tolerate that. You ain't gonna talk to somebody like that. She's here to do a job and run a business. What she does is her business when it comes to this job. She can refuse service to anybody she chooses. And if you had a business, you do the same doggone thing. So you're not gonna sit there and disrespect somebody like that. Do you understand me, sir? I'm not gonna let it happen. That's why you're being trespassed. You don't call people punk just because you don't like something. That's not how this goes.
That's
at
how
all.
it used to go.
Well, things ain't how they used
When I
to.
was a kid, that's where it used to go.
Oh, well, the things ain't how they used to be no more.
You got that right.
Well, maybe it's time to get with it.
I don't like the way it is.
Well, then don't shop here.
I didn't say I didn't like this. I
Well,
don't like
if
the way, I don't
this
like
is
the
part
way
of that, and I ain't
things
gonna
are.
stand here and argue that
This
with you.
newness of life, I don't like it.
Well, then there's a common denominator there, and it's you.
Long time ago, this wouldn't happen to me. I promise you, this wouldn't happen to me. I'd whooped all y'all.
What?
I said, long time ago, this wouldn't happen to me because I'd whooped all y'all.
Well, it ain't happening now.
I'm 81 years old.
Well, don't start talking like that, because that's how this goes. I promise you, that's not how this goes, sir. All right? You want to be talked down to? Because nobody else does, including me, her, anybody else in this parking lot. And I'm not gonna sit here and let you do it to anybody else.
I don't like to be treated this way, buddy. I hadn't done
Well,
nothing wrong.
neither does other people, and that's why we're here. It goes both ways. If you don't have nothing nice to say or do, then don't do or say nothing. It's as simple as that. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
Do you understand that if you step foot in this store, you will be arrested for trespassing? Do you understand?
How much that cost?
You go to jail, then you got to bond out, and then when you go to court, if you're found guilty, you'll have to pay fines and court costs. So it's best to just stay out of the store.
Let me go in there and tell my wife I got to stay out of there. Let me go in there and tell her that.
They can
I
tell
go
her.
in there and tell her
They
that?
can tell her.
I can't go in there and tell her that.
No, sir.
She don't even know my wife.
She saw you come in with your wife. It's a small store. She knows. She saw who you come in with.
She'd be worried to death about me.
Hey, how about this? How about I go inside with her, we find your wife, and tell her that you're waiting outside?
Please say, appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you for being nice.
There's your ID. Now you can go have a seat in your vehicle, sir.
Sir?
You can go have a seat in your vehicle. 760 1065. You can go have a seat in your vehicle, sir.
Sir?
You can go have a seat in your vehicle now.
She should have stay on the ground.
In your vehicle, in the parking lot.
See how he told the woman cop, thank you for being nice, because she was willing to take orders from him. He said, I've never been treated like this. This is not how it used to be. Because he's used to that super patriarchy, being able to be misogynistic wherever he is. About my wife's gonna be worried sick about me. Sir, you were outside for quite a while. That woman didn't come out and check on you. She's probably sick of your shit, but she can't go anywhere. But that's what they mean by make America great again. They believe that everybody is supposed to be on their side and in their employment. Did you hear the shock in his voice when he realized that young white male cop wasn't on his side? He thought that he could go in and tell a woman working in the store that he would slap her, that she had to joke back and forth with him regardless of what he was joking about or how he was joking. And see, these are the people who raise the Karens and the Richards of today. When they go into stores and they feel, or go into restaurants and feel that everybody on staff works for them as if they're their personal butlers. And even when he was told, you are trespassed, the only thing you can do, because it's a small store, it's a small town, they realize that he drives his wife and she can't drive herself. You can sit in your car. Well, she said, I could stay on the grounds. And he knows and understands his privilege. And nobody will question him going back and forth with the cop. But let his complexion have been different. Let his complexion have been different. Now, moving on. I know a lot of us have seen people stand alone outside of stores or find a corner in the store and go, "Oh, they gave me so much grief regarding my MAGA merch," or "They loved my MAGA," but nobody's ever around. They say it for clicks, likes, and views. If you think I'm joking, of course, I got receipts.
I love being in Sam's Club and getting compliments on my daddy's on his way Trump shirt, you guys. I'm so excited.
Now let's get past the fact that she said her daddy's on his way Trump shirt. Did you notice anything? Let me play it for you again. It's a short video. Let me play it for you again.
I love being in Sam's Club and getting compliments on my daddy's on his way Trump shirt, you guys. I'm so excited.
Who was around her? And did you notice she muted her voice? And she had to then, if you're walking around and people are complimenting you, why do you now have to open the shirt up to show people what it says? They will fake acceptance and fake being persecuted, just like the tyrannical evangelical Christians. Everybody's coming after. Ain't nobody coming after you. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. There was no one around her in a Sam's Club. In a Sam's Club. I ain't never, in all my years of Sam's Club existing, been able to go into a Sam's Club and find a spot where somebody else ain't lingering. But she lowered that voice. I'm so excited. And just so you know, nope, that's not her merch. Nope, she wasn't selling it. There wasn't a little shopping cart. Nothing. Now from there to more MAGA news. Coming from Newsweek, GOP House majority may drop below 218 seats. Here's what that means. And this is what I say. And I know the coverage, and it's the media's fault, and it's also the powers that be's fault. And people believing that, on election day, that's all the final it's not. It's not. And Trump and the people around Trump the last time, this is what they use to help push him into believing even more into his delusion that the election was stolen from him. Let's get into this article. Yeah, because the final tallies, it takes quite a while. And then, they have to be certified, and sometimes recounts happen. But House Republicans will need to maintain a united front to pass legislation early next year, as the GOP's majority in the lower chamber could temporarily drop to 217 seats, experts told Newsweek. We know that they have zero desire to get anything accomplished because we're looking at the current Congress and how little they got accomplished. Their biggest success this year was making Mike Johnson Speaker of the House. Democrat Adam Gray unseated Republican John Duarte in California's 13th congressional district race on Tuesday, finalizing the results of all 2024 House races. Gray's victory means Democrats will hold 215 seats next year, while Republicans will control the House with a slim 220-seat majority. However, the GOP could temporarily lose up to 3 seats as members resign and leave Congress to join President-elect Donald Trump's administration. And this also goes to something that I can't remember if I've said it here, but I have said it on TikTok, that Trump and his team didn't expect to win. This is why they're not truly thinking strategically, because they are pulling a lot of people from Capitol Hill and his personal legal team. And nobody's correcting him on this. This is why I'm still waiting to figure out who the real Svengali is. And before you say it's Musk, a Svengali isn't that boisterous, and they're not going to show you. They love hiding firmly behind their puppet. Matt Gaetz has already resigned after being tapped for the role of Attorney General, a position he later withdrew from. And keep in mind, Matt Gaetz did win re-election and has already stated that he will not be joining this new Congress. Now, I don't know if he officially said that or just said it in the press, but, you never know with them. Representatives Mike Waltz of Florida and Elise Stefanik of New York are in line for National Security Advisor and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, respectively. Now, at least thus far, they realize at least a little bit how the nomination process goes and the confirmation process goes. So they have not officially stepped down. But the fact that Pete Hegseth is really offering them a smokescreen and nobody really paying attention to their lack of experience and their problematic behavior, they might step down thinking that they're going to be a shoo-in and get right in. Who knows? Because with this cast of characters, anything goes. Passing legislation in the House requires a simple majority of 218 votes. And if some lawmakers are absent due to illness or other reasons, the majority threshold is lowered. If all 3 resignations occur, the House will be split 217 to 215 until the seats are filled via special elections. This means Republicans can ill afford any defections on full House votes to achieve a full simple majority, as a 216-216 tie would block any legislation. At a minimum, the GOP whip organization is going to have to be precise in its counts and diligent in its getting members to the floor for roll counts, Charles Bullock, a political science professor at the University of Georgia, told Newsweek. Against a united Democratic front, just a few Republican absences or members reluctant to back a particular bill could cost the GOP. We may see roll calls held open longer as leadership twists arms, drag reluctant members to the floor, or awaits delayed flights from California. And these roll call votes, we saw it this year, is to put people in front of the camera. Because if you've paid attention to the patterns, and I've tried to point this out a lot to people, the GOP really doesn't like Trump, but they understand Trump's power with his constituency. So when there's no roll call vote, they're like, not going to do this, not going to do this. When there is a roll call vote, if it's something that Trump is boisterous about and has his constituency paying attention to, they will fall in line. If they know people are not paying attention to it, they won't. Prime example, when they voted against the border bill, they didn't care. They knew that their constituency and Trump's constituency wasn't watching that vote. They were just paying attention to talking points. Now, moving over to SCOTUS. Ooh, okay, hold on. Sorry, allergies are getting the best of me. Seasonal allergies are a beast, especially when you got to take a break from taking your normal medication. Also coming from Newsweek, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch recuses himself from case after pressure. Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch has agreed to recuse himself from an upcoming case following a pressure campaign from activist groups and Democratic lawmakers. Gorsuch, part of the court's current 6-3 Gorsuch, part of the court's current 6-3 conservative majority, indicated on Wednesday that he would not be participating in 7-county infrastructure coalition v. Eagle County, Colorado, a case that will determine whether the National Environment Policy Act, NEPA, requires federal agencies to consider downline impacts of projects like oil drilling operations. Calls for the justice to recuse himself intensified due to his relationship with Philip Anschutz, a Colorado billionaire who built his fortune in the oil industry and could benefit from the court's ruling. Gorsuch represented Anschutz while working as a corporate lawyer in the early 2000s. News that Gorsuch recused himself broke in the form of a memo sent to lawyers involved in the case by the Supreme Court clerk Scott Harris on Wednesday. It announced that Justice Gorsuch has determined that he will not continue to participate in this case due to the court's code of conduct, which was enacted last year following criticisms of Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito for refusing to remove themselves from other cases. Well, it's about time somebody up there is willing to follow the rules, because y'all been acting like the rules don't apply to y'all. Like, this is going to be a hindrance to y'all or something. The current case is set for oral arguments on December 10th and arrived at the Supreme Court after a federal appeals court sided with Eagle County's lawsuit to block the 7-county infrastructure coalition-sponsored construction of a rail line in rural Utah. The decision hinged on a claim that the project violated NEPA by not considering indirect environmental impacts. And this is crucial because Trump rolled back so many regulations. So when y'all are complaining about infrastructure, the railroads not doing this, all these issues with bridges, etc., dun da da da, you voted for it. In September, the Anschutz Exploration Corporation filed an amicus brief or friend of the court brief urging Supreme Court justices to limit the scope of NEPA and to allow the rail line to be constructed by overturning the lower court's decision. Because NEPA applies to every major federal action, including the authorizations, Anschutz needs to develop federal oil and gas reserves. Far more is at stake in this case than the 88-mile rail line in rural Utah, the brief states. I don't know how much more y'all want to destroy the environment before you get it. Especially since there is a technological move to new sources of energy, just like when coal started to die because we realized there were things that were more environmentally friendly and things that wouldn't put so many people's lives and health in danger. Newsweek reached out for comment to the Anschutz Exploration Corporation via email on Wednesday evening. Accountable U.S. and 14 other groups, including Greenpeace USA, argue that the cozy relationship between Gorsuch and Anschutz requires Justice Gorsuch to recuse from this case, as Anschutz's businesses could financially benefit from how the case is decided, in a letter sent to Chief Justice John Roberts in October. The blatant conflict of interest is clear. Therefore, we urge you to take appropriate action to ensure Justice Gorsuch recuses himself from this case, the letter states. The relationship that creates a conflict of interest is just the latest example of countless violations in the years-long Supreme Court ethics crisis. Last month, Democratic Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia and 12 of his House colleagues sent a letter to Gorsuch demanding his recusal, arguing that Anschutz played a significant role in his ascent to the Supreme Court in addition to ongoing personal ties. To show the American people that the Supreme Court is impartial, which we need right about now, you must recuse yourself from any case that directly impacts the financial fortunes of Philip Anschutz, the man who was your previous legal client, who helped raise you to the Supreme Court, and who treats you to lavish vacations on his exclusive 60-square-mile ranch, the Lawmakers Road. Dang. You must do the honorable thing and recuse yourself from any decisions in the case of 7-county infrastructure coalition in Eagle County, Colorado, they added. You know, it always amazes me how the rich impress the rich. Let that sink in. Repeat that back in your head. Following the announcement that Gorsuch had recused himself, Johnson issued a statement praising the justice for doing the honorable thing by showing that he was not in the pocket of Anschutz. I think it is essential to maintaining the public's respect in the integrity of the court, and I applaud Justice Gorsuch for doing the right and honorable thing, Johnson said. It is important that the court show the public that it is not in the pocket of billionaire benefactors. First of all, this reeks of, specifically speaking about Johnson's statement, it reeks of a police officer making the news and them getting a special honor and a certificate for doing their damn job. I said what I said. I said what I said. Oh, we are so very screwed. Excuse me. Now we're gonna step away from politics for a minute. This video was labeled relationship chat, so we're gonna watch it together and we're gonna discuss it on the other side. See you in 2 and 2. Well, it's a little bit of a long one, so see you in 5 and 5.
I asked my partner to hold my hand in public and he refused, but he didn't know the level of pettiness I can go. Was I wrong for ending my relationship with him via text? I, 37F, am not originally from the city where I live. I came here for a better career and financial opportunity to be able to fund my startup 10 years ago. I've made sacrifices like any other business person and was rejected until I figured things out. It took me a few years. I took clients and saved enough to be able to qualify for JVs and financing. Long story short, I completed the process. I purchased 2 foreclosed properties 4 years apart. The first one was purchased with money that I saved from my bonuses. The second one I got after becoming very financially stable. I live part-time in the first property, and I'm renting out the second one. Both are very modest, but I've made them very clean-looking and livable. The rent money from the second property has allowed me to net enough income for a very good emergency fund. I got romantically involved with James, 35M, almost 2 years ago. He's been very supportive of my career since I do some traveling. He has never acted insecure or criticized my ambitions, and I felt very lucky. We both have kids from past relationships and have agreed that we want to build the best for them, individually. A few months ago, he started asking questions. It was very sporadic, and I chalked it up to him, trying to understand my job better. He's not from my industry, nor works for the private sector, but he has always wanted to start a business. We had extended conversations about our future. I'm following my original plan to fully move back to my city, but I wanted to create a happy medium as I value our relationship. He said he wanted to find a job in another city and get better opportunities. I supported his decision. I don't know if I made a mistake in taking him as my +1 on career-based dinners and events. Everyone brings their husbands or wives or anyone they can consider as a companion. These are social events but for career people. After a few months, he became incredibly invested in my social circle and I didn't like it, not because I see anything wrong with letting him meet some people from my daily work life but because he started doing some name-dropping to his own friends and family. He also began to make unfavorable comparisons between me and my own colleagues and complained that I don't dress the way XYZ does. So I dropped him as my +1 because he was stressing me out. I also had to tell him to stop asking me about my rental because I was uncomfortable discussing side income. I drive an old SUV. It's not as shiny and nice looking as it did originally, but it works just fine to drive locally. He never complained about it until we went for a drive a few weeks back and we stopped at a kiosk by the side of the road and he parked my car a bit far. He was driving. I asked him to drive closer, but he said my car was embarrassing. This created a before and after feeling to our relationship. I wouldn't think of criticizing his car, which isn't new either. I allowed him to drive my car because his has AC problems, and I told him the difference between the way he treats my less than fancy possessions versus the way I treat his. He smirked, but I think he was embarrassed, so I let it go. He asked me if I would agree to get him an investor or invest myself in the business that he wants to create. I was caught off guard and said I needed to think about it. I did talk to him about it later on and was through about why I can't do it. Owning a business is very demanding. He needs to be an expert or at least have solid knowledge of whatever he does to become valuable to investors. I don't want to go through the ordeal of finding investment all over again as I'm closing that chapter, and I would need to write his plan and basically create a business for him on paper. He will not be able to pay my rates, so it's likely a sweat equity deal, but I would need to put long hours down in order to earn it, get an agreement and give up time that I want to devote to my family. I think he needs to do the legwork on his own. When I told him, he seemed very put off, like was a bad girlfriend. Fast forward, and he became distant. It might be because he was embarrassed that I said no, but I can't shake the idea that he finds me less valuable after that conversation. James is a very affectionate person, but he stopped saying that he loves me unless I asked him. He mentioned that he wants a helpful woman by his side. I took the hint and clarified that I couldn't go around asking my contacts for money for his business. He said if I'm afraid to ask, then it's because I'm insecure or my colleagues don't respect me. I was very irritated, and we ended up having an argument that cut our date short. Last week, he joked about cheating, and I didn't take it well. He downplayed what he said but didn't apologize. We met 2 nights before Thanksgiving. I bought tickets to our local Christmas-themed park. I wanted us to spend some time together before I went to spend a few days with my family. It was beautiful, and I thought it was incredibly romantic. James didn't want to hold my hand. First, he held mine for a few minutes and then moved away. Then I tried to reach for his hand again. He laughed it off and called me corny. He put his hands inside his jacket. I thought he was playing, but he seemed annoyed. He wasn't abrupt or anything, just made it clear that he didn't want to hold hands. He didn't want the kissing booth. We sat down to eat. I tried to be affectionate, but since he wasn't willing, I gave up because he turned away when I tried to kiss him while inside the car. This had never happened before, but he changed after we talked about the funds. I got home feeling dejected and humiliated and cried because I didn't want to think that everything we've had together was him just pretending. I made a very hasty decision, and I might have jumped the gun. I changed all my locks, gathered all of his personal belongings that he had at my place, just a small bag, and drove to his place to leave them at the door. He called me hours later, but I didn't answer. I just broke up with him via text. I'm currently spending the weekend with my family, and he's been blowing up my phone with voicemails. He sounds frantic and confused, but I plan on staying broken up because I'm embarrassed at his rejection. So, was I wrong for not talking it over?
Sweetheart, he wasn't embarrassed. He was never affectionate. He's always been manipulative. You were always an asset. You were always a means to an end. He basically scouted you. He gave enough time to give you security and let you get comfortable, but you were always an asset. This is why he's withholding affection, because he knows it's important to you. So he's going to weaponize the affection to try to manipulate you into doing what you want. This is why he used the words that, regarding your colleagues. This is why he started, equating you to your colleagues, and then saying that, he wanted a helpful girlfriend. And if you weren't helpful, he didn't want it. He wants to benefit from your hard work while not doing a lick of work. You were supposed to be his way to the top. You were supposed to be his security blanket. You are supposed to be his investor maker. And trust and believe, once he would have made it, he would have said that he outgrew you. And he would have moved to the next woman who was a notch higher than you. Or if he finally got all of those connections, then he would have got himself a trophy. And I'm not saying this just to say this. I've lived it. I've lived it. I've been love bombed in that way. And oh, she's so great. This is my girlfriend. And then, oh, she's a bitch. She's so horrible. You don't love me. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna listen to you. And then the public humiliation starts. And the public humiliation is there to keep you in line, because they realize that your reputation as a business owner is what gets you income and sustains your income. And if they tarnish that, they tarnish your income. But there's a duality to it, because they still want your income. You stated that you paid for that romantic outing. He's driving your car. He's frantically calling you right now because his luxuries that he was trying to downplay to you, so it's not obvious that you're keeping him. That's why he did it. That's why he did it. There are a lot of men out here. They want to be the trad husband. They want to be the trophy husband or boyfriend. They want to be kept, and they're not going to tell you that. Now, there's also that gentleman that's not used to it. They're used to having something to hold over a woman's head to keep her in line. And when they don't have it, they start to spiral. So they have to go to the emotional and mental abuse, because they know with a strong woman, they can't get physical. So they try to outsmart you while playing with your emotions, because they're like, oh, if a woman's emotions are jumbled, I can play these mind games. And to that I say, you ain't never had a girl like me. Try it if you want to. You get your feelings hurt. You be crying in the corner. I will be your 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, all the way up to the 25th reason. Why? Okay? I will be all of them reasons. Gleefully, happily. Okay? I will lay on the bed with my feet kicked up, giggling. I don't give a shit. You'll get embarrassed expeditiously. Now, to close out our final video. First of all, I now loathe the terms boy mom, girl dad, because when Vanessa Bryant described Kobe Bryant as a girl dad, it's because that's all he had was daughters. And he was full into respecting them and getting to know them and being the best father he could to his daughters. People have taken that and tarnished it and made it something that it really was not, because you can't be a boy mom and you gave birth to both boys and girls and possibly non-binary individuals. So it's ridiculous. But boy moms, y'all are showing that you didn't marry your husbands. You didn't marry your spouses out of love. You married them out of transaction. And you gave birth to and raised your perfect spouse and your butt hurt because they don't want to have this incestuous relationship with you. So let's take a look at this video. It's shorter than the last one, I promise you. It's less than 2. Okay? See you on the other side.
Okay. Oh my God, how great! No, I'm gonna stop. You good? He just completely stole our moment.
No, come on then.
This was right. This is our baby,
Don't worry
and the
about it.
gender. No, it's not like I'm worried. I just want to address it because I don't think this was right.
I'm excited that you're having a baby.
Well, you
Yes,
didn't
it
allow
is
him to
exciting.
hook me. I'm his wife. You didn't allow him to hook me.
Yeah.
Are you sure if you get like what's the problem?
Yes, but we just found out we're gonna have a little baby girl.
It's fine, it's fine, it's
And
fine.
I just found out that it's my first granddaughter.
No, you
as well,
screwed
like.
yourself at it.
No,
Why
no.
crazy?
Come on, everyone's happy. Come on, let's.
No, give me a minute, no. Go on.
I don't think this is right because you just literally threw yourself at Dane, ended up on the sofa. He couldn't even like hug me.
Right, listen, are you a little bit hormonal?
Oh,
We're both
Why is everyone starting at me and attacking me? Come on, love, honestly, we've had a nice day. We'll tidy all this up.
You know, like you said, we had a nice day.
Stop
We
filming.
had a nice day, and I'm done
Stop
with
filming
this.
it.
I'm done with it.
If you cannot let go of other women to defend the woman that you're with, especially the woman that's carrying your child, why waste her time? Why disturb her peace? Because everybody always talks about a woman being a man's peace. Why disturb her peace? And why tell her to calm down? And then you notice the mother instantly turn into the victim. And this is a conversation that's bigger than just the boy moms, because there are sisters, moms, aunts, female besties, all of this that do the same thing, that feel the need to prove that they're above the girlfriend, the wife, the whatever. And these men allow it because they're not checking these women. And even if you go, well, my man, he checks them, but they keep doing it because you're the first one that he's checked in doing it. So they're like, haha, I'm not taking him seriously. or he's agreeing with them when you're not around. And that's despicable. That woman's whole moment is missed. Now, anybody who knows me, I love my brothers. I love my brothers. And I have one brother that he and his wife, it was a while before, they welcomed their first child. And I was at their gender reveal. Now, I'm not big on the whole gender reveals, but my family gets together for any of that. We make excuses just to hang out with each other, okay? And when they found out their first child was a boy, and they hugged each other, and I stepped back. I stepped back, let their besties, let them hug each other, let the parents hug them, let, their besties hug them and everything. And I sat back and I hugged them both because I was very happy for them. They were happy with the outcome. You sit back. And me, I know how my brothers view me. And I know if I do certain things, it's going to put them in an awkward position. I'm going to be extremely disrespectful. And I'm not saying my actions. I'm not saying that I would like propel it, but just doing that, you sit back. Even when the oldest of the tiny humans, I didn't do that to the mother of the tiny humans. I'm not going to sit there and grab myself. No, you congratulate them both. There's no reason to prove I'm the most important woman in his life. And women like that have a disdain for every other woman in their life. And there's somebody that I know that their first child was a son, and they were all on the boy mom train. Oh, my son is this, that, the other, but was extremely jealous of the relationship, the healthy relationship that their child's father had with his own mother. They acted as if he should cut the mother off. The mother was not intrusive. The mother did not overstep bounds. The mother was there for her just as much as she was for the child that she gave birth to. But she decide I got to be the number one. Stop. 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 And also let me say this, and let me say this to everybody. Everybody is not going to love you at the same level. Stop window shopping other people's love, other people's respect, because you don't know what goes on that you can't see. Excuse me. And stop assuming that a title or position gives you something. But also, do not enter into a relationship. Don't even date if you feel that, well, this is my bestie and whatever they say, I ain't gonna and they got to cut. Rock it out with your bestie. Or if you're like, this is my mama, this is my daddy. I'm not saying allow anybody to disrespect them. But if they are the number one in your life, don't bring anybody else in. Don't bring anybody else in. And if you decide that somebody is your partner in life, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, just partner, your spouse, whatever, and you know that you have family members that in your eyes can do no wrong, and you cannot be there to support the person you chose to be with. You're not obligated by DNA or anything. You chose to be with them. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Because these are also the same people that are like, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing about my sibling. Don't even say that they annoy you. But they will get real disrespectful talking about your friends and family. As I always say, do not require or expect what you can't give. And this is also why it's important. Stop making your entire personality trait being a wife, being a partner, or being a parent. Because you lose yourself so much that you cannot let go, that you have to make everything about you. And baby, and for those of y'all that are like, but she'll make a great grandmother. No, she won't. No, she won't. Because if that child comes out looking too much like the mother, she's going to hate it. If it comes out looking too much like the child, if her child attaches himself too much to his own child, she's going to get jealous. And then she's going to try to pit the new baby against everybody else. It's going to be a shit show. There's going to be a lot of generational trauma. And the thing about it is, you see it with internalized misogyny and internalized racism. People tend to become their bullies. They'll complain about how their mother-in-law treated them, and then they will become that mother-in-law. Not always. There's always outliers. But yes. As always, thank y'all for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. I will see y'all on Sunday live over on the TikTok, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, to continue with Lies About Black People. Till then, as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Now go out and get into some good trouble.